Do you welcome that?
Yes.
Why? Because eventually that is your foundation, our foundation to save the world. And that we saved 7 years, 7 precious years.
이런 실정을 볼 때, 이런 실정을 볼 때 세계가 얼마나 혼자갔네.
And when this situation becomes visible, then how much faster the world will come to be saved. And if Father will continue on thinking this way, will he continue to think in this way, or will he discontinue? Why? Because it shortens time, and because it shortens the time to build the foundation. And this is the only way, in fact, this is the way to love anything, including God and mankind. Can you understand in Father's reasoning? So these 3 years, when Father decides these 3 years, then the Father will the work at the top of you, ahead of you. So in 3 years, actually, the eating and sleeping, don't think so much about eating and sleeping, but rather how to achieve this goal in 3 years is the first thing Father will think about. So should you. That will shorten our suffering time. Shall we do that too, or should not we do that? Don't you say, well, Father, I am hard up as I am now. This is the maximum I can take. I can't take any more. Would you say that? No. Or, Father, there's always a room for me to do some more. Would you say that?
Yes.
Are you all spirit in yourself, sir? If I'm reduced down to the bone and skin, no flesh left in 3 years to come, but I will be just as determined as I have a pound of flesh. And Mother has been warning Father. Father, your waistline is getting bigger. Father has been saying, don't worry. One day my waistline will go so thin that nobody will ever worry about my waistline. Do you understand? Do you agree? Why? Because we need the foundation. The foundation absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Even to God, this foundation necessary.
독일 회사, 영국 회사, 미국 회사 최고위원 딱 돼가지고 하면 완전히 기술 다 하는 데가 세계 오만이 되고.
Father really would like to become one. That is to combine all the highest technology American corporation has, highest technology British corporation has, highest technology German corporation and Japan, and all consolidate them, all integrate them, and become the industrial kingdom one day within Unification Church. And the king of industry, industrial king. And we will not only think that way, but we will pursue that way. And you have no objection, do you? No. Father, they called forth a few people here, 2 college graduates, and say, from now on you build a boat. And they were obedient. And then they are really up to the neck now to trying to find out how to build a boat. They're better, because if they don't, then Father will be building the boat. So they can't say, Father, I can't, I have no experience. They can't say that. Do you understand? And when Father made the fishing in Barrytown, Father made a fishing net all by himself.
밤새가지고 하지.
Father really worked. You saw Father work, didn't you? All the seminarians.
너를 그랬어. 아이고, 명래 선생님이 너를 앉아갔다. 아이고, 영과 갔다. 아이고, 좋았다. 너 그랬을 거야, 이것도. 오늘 뭐 고기 잡냐 금는데 고기 잡냐고 꼭딱꼭딱.
Maybe all the seminarians, when they heard the Father was coming to England, maybe the first thing they thought was, oh, we don't have to fish this year. Because the fishing was so difficult, because Father never fished just a few hours. Father fishes 24 hours. And then in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, Father fishes. But when you know everything, are you fortunate to meet Father, or you are not fortunate to meet Father? Why? If you have a reason to be fortunate, because you can shorten your suffering period from 10 years to 3 years. That's why you're fortunate. Do you agree to that? Now you know what Father has been doing and why he has been doing it. When Father decides to do, they will be done. Father will do it. When Father started this path, this way of religion, Father's own father and mother, Father's own parents, don't you think they begged Father not to do that? Because it's difficult? Because they didn't understand, of course, but it's a lot of suffering, so... Even Father's own wife, Father's own brothers and sisters, many of them. All the teachers of a school who is very much attached to Father. Even the government say, Reverend Myung, we advise you strongly not to do it. But Father pay no attention. Government give no instruction to me. But only 3 years after that. Only 3 years after that, government is turning around and say, we need your help. So that's how the world changes, and Father all done it with both fists. That's all Father had. You see, this spirit, this thought is a formidable one. This is a source of power. This is a source of inexhaustible power. Now Father feels much at ease, much less strain. Father knows that everything is within the strategy of Father. Now everything is under control, you might say.
조금만 더 가야 되면 영국이 세상에 날 만나가 하고 조금만 더 가야 되면 뭐 일본 세상에 만나야 조금만 더 가면 미국 대통령이 날 만나가 불러다는 겁니다.
Soon it is not Father who tried to see President of the United States, who tried to see the Prime Minister of England. It is the Prime Minister of England who sent this person to see, can we see you? And the President of the United States, White House, said, can we meet you? But with what? With nothing other than foundation. Father's never the foundation which nobody can look over the shore. Do you understand?
Yes.
Father feels that even though I am not so handsome, even though I am ugly, when I have a foundation, because of that, you cannot overlook me.
그래 안 그래? 남자 못생겼다고 탄설만 요래 캐달다고 생각 나 이거 못생겼다고 생각하지 마. 못생겼다고 여자 못생겼다고 탄설하지 마. 기만만 가져.
So this is the point Father has been insisting on you, is that men who are ugly looking, never mind, actually that has nothing to do with your life, as soon as you have a foundation, the people will respect you. Nevertheless, makes no difference absolutely. So goes to even women. If you make a unparalleled foundation, even the ugliest one will never have a handicap. Even the most handsome man will come to try to marry you once you have that foundation. Isn't that true?
너는 벌레 저기 서양 너가 이제 서구에는 벌레는 무슨 뭐 천적 같은지 결혼을 뭐 전부 다 너는 백일끼리 하라고 결혼식을 했지.
Well, only after you came into Unification Church, of course, you are different now. Father knows that. But if you didn't join the Unification Church, all of you here, white sisters here, white girls, you thought I will marry another white man and the handsome one too. Everyone thought that, didn't you? Or did you or didn't you? Then only after you saw everybody in international marriage and you learn every day the meaning of that, then now you know. So, well, I would have to be in international case too. Now but if nobody did this before you, and you are the pioneer, then many of you will, oh, Father, I can't do that. They will not.
얼마나 일본 한국 전부다 얼마나 반대한 줄 알아? 이젠 기반 딱 전통이 당연히 약간해지니까 아이고 오사라.
Now, when we think about marriage, then we immediately think mass marriage. Nothing to do with marriage. And then when we think about the marriage, who am I going to marry? German, French, English? No, you think about everybody except your own countryman. You think about it. But not 10 years ago. In 10 years ago, when a mass wedding, the newspaper always ridiculed. They laughed at, And why do they get married in mass? Why don't they get married like one by one in church, like everybody else? They made the laughing stock out of it. Now, every one of these marriages has succeeded. They know this is an original way of marrying, and actually they are happier. They will never separate even to eternity. Everybody know that much. So now they say, Unification Church marrying, as far as marriage goes, we approve of them. They say that because Father already built the tradition. Tradition is not built in 1 year. 10 years Father already built the tradition and made a foundation. The one who is married in mass wedding has a place to work, and they are much better armed by thought, ideally. So the chances of their going bad, absolutely none. So they approve.
1800만 할 때 세계를 나타내 세계. 모든 세계 나라가 신문에 야단해가지고 세계를 나타내는 거고 너들 뭐 지금 비둘기만 둘이 아장아장가지고 뭐좀 맥하면서 이렇게 하는 거 어디가 좋아? 동네 여기 구석에서 그런 거죠.
So if you know the real meaning of marriage and why God created you and why the marriage is important, if you know that, which would you rather prefer? The marrying in the hundreds of couples here,
1800
one like hundreds and 1,800, for instance, 1,800 couples here, and all together in one great grand wedding march, or you would rather and when the world is watching over you, world newspaper report about your wedding, whereas if you marry the individual maybe at a small village of your own village in church, French countryside, and nobody's watching you except your few relatives, and some even jealous, and go and marry you. You don't even have a future security. You don't know what's going to happen to your marriage 10 years from now, 93 years from now. So many people actually write Father, write the church that I would like to be engaged in the wedding. How do I go about it? Imagine how inspiring and also how heart-lifting it is.
이게 이제 나라가 넘고 말이야. 나라가 넘고 세계적으로 한번 한 10만 한다 해보라고. 얼마나 젊은 사람들이 세계적인 사람들 기가 당나귀 같아가지고 아이고 그런 이제 10만 하는 줄 알수 없잖아. 그렇게 해보라고.
Imagine once this is better established, established even better, even more tradition, widen the way, highway, then soon, all the young people of age, all years, 100,000 people of them, 100,000 people,
100,000
couple, mass wedding every once in a while. Then if they just miss the chance, then that person will wait for the second marriage. This time, the rumor says there's a 200,000 couple marriage. Then they're ears like donkey. Where does news come from? Imagine, would you rather marry in that fashion, or would you rather marry the individual way at some church corner?
자, 그래요. 전부 다 이제 텔사를 통해서 막 인공지능을 통해서 전 세계가 TV를 통해서 보고 싶었나? 보고 나면 그래요.
And then the people will watch over your wedding scene through a telestar, through the television. Television, the sea of couples. And your relatives see them, and you're everywhere, your relatives see them because you're getting married. And imagine, every one of your parents think, that is my son's wedding. They don't say, it's 100,000 people's wedding. They don't say that. That is my son's wedding. And the individual, couple's picture will be taken, that. And here, my son and my daughter-in-law, and here, that grand mass wedding. And that's his son's wedding.
자, 그게 멋지가 나요. 둘이 비둘기가 다 얼마나 기가 막혀.
Or would you rather continue to get married, the unknown church, only two couples, you see, just like a man who eloped, escaped.
합동 결혼식 전통이 된 날에는 여자 남자 그룹이 이름을 쓰는다. 이름을 가고 싶어서 참고 아이고 또 가운데 또 참고 이름을 있다고.
When a mass wedding will become a fashion, when it becomes a tradition and later fashion, then the right age young boys and girls, they cannot wait, so they have to sit down and stand up, and they sit down and stand up. When is the wedding going to be? When is the wedding going to be? They cannot sit still, that is. That much foundation can change the world. You will never be the same once you build the foundation. Fundraising and door-to-door fundraising. Imagine you are pioneering, so it's difficult. Not so many people understand. That's why difficult. But you do that 3 years with your eyes closed. You see, don't think anything else. But you do that, and soon it will become an established tradition. Every Unification Church member, young member, comes in Unification Church. They ask no question. They will immediately go door to door and fundraising. What happened? You experience yourself, so you know. If the young people will come right into church and start with inheriting this tradition and go door to door with for the sake of others and not a penny for himself, will that young man become bad or good? No. Will he become a slightest chance of becoming bad? No. From what you experience, you know. now you don't know what great thing you're doing. You're just doing it. But once foundation is done, then you will know how great thing you have achieved. And that's what we are doing now. Do you understand?
알았다고? 땅을 밟고 뭐라는 거지?
Now you know what to think about persecution. Now you know that persecution is a message from God. Say, make haste, make faster the foundation. Then you will be free from persecution. This is what God is trying to tell you. Then, while you endure during this persecution, and then you still go on thinking what to do when you graduate from persecution, then you will have some idea what to teach other people. You know, many people don't think. And when they don't think, they have no idea. When they don't have idea, they are at other people's mercy. That's a straight way to perishment. So we should think, even though everything is difficult, even though while we're crying, we have to figure out something else. So the one who is thinking all the time is deprived of the opportunity and chance. German, raise your hands. German national.
독일이 제일 아주 기술 세계에서는 제일 큰 소리지 말아요.
Even as yet, German, they would have pride, you know, as far as technology goes, as far as machinery goes. German still the top, but don't be so confident now.
독일을 하는데 독일보다 못하는 사람이 독일은 억울함을 피탁을 받고 욕심을 다한 그런 나라가 있어가지고 독일상 발전해왔다고 이런 민족이 있어서 난 독일은 진짜 참 생각을 많이 했습니다.
But if some nation, the Germany has or is giving a difficult time, you know, persecuting a difficult time, and that man is never giving in and enduring this persecution, not only that, he's trying to excel you, as we gain the superiority over you, then you can safely assume that one day that country will take the leadership of industry from Germany. This is sure to happen if there is that country. Do you understand?
예를 들어 말하면 말이야. 이거 지금 이제 배아리 뭘
You know the ball bearing? There's bearing that goes everywhere.
독일이 제일이라 하고 잘 먹어. 일본 같은 나라는 무서워가지고 그 물건을 다 갖고 이렇게 나와.
And with German, one time, not long ago, in fact, has enjoyed an undisputable reputation. Nobody can even say anything because it's too obvious. German ball bearing, best in the world. When the Japanese started making ball bearings, German really laughed at them and say, Japanese make a horrible ball bearing, never buy that. German are the best. The Japanese industry men come to father saying that years ago. They got that persecution. And the Japanese has been thinking all the time. German didn't have to think so much because they're making the best one. Maybe they did a little better thinking so that they make even a better one, but they never thought Japanese ever will come close to them. The Japanese kept on thinking, making better ball bearing. Every year they produce better ball bearing. What happened is, Japanese made only slightly better ball bearing than Germany, not by far better. They're slightly better. But the price is almost two-thirds. Two-thirds of a price, they made a slightly better ball bearing. So you know where the market go to. And then the EC people, nobody gives up sporty. So they sue the Japanese industry, but very obvious. They make better in a cheaper price. Who can blame that? So the German company lost in the court case.
완전히 서구 사회하고 노시하고 다르다 이번에 완전히 일본 무시하고 양물고 참고 말아 참고 생각을 생각해버려버립니다. 서구 사회를 완전 비워버리고 그럼 뭐 전단을 끊었죠. 여자 컴퓨터까지 뭐 불어나는 이때.
You know, that ball bearing happens to be the last peak of industry of the world. So the Japanese conquer that, just like that. Electronics, the automobile industry, even to the top peak of ball bearing, you name it, nothing Japanese cannot produce which other people can produce. They produce better. So,
일본 사람이 이걸 그만 더해서는 말이야. 한국 사람은 일본 사람 가서 말이야. 이게 문제야.
but now Japan has a concern, of course they can do nothing about it, but they have a good competition, which is Korea. Koreans are even thinking deeper than Japanese. Right next to them.
일본 사람은 더 크게, 공장을 해도 크게 하고, 고생을 해도 더 하고.
So Japanese, they have a Japanese the lesson to take the Korea sitting right next to Japan. They study how the Japanese made mistakes. So they bypass the mistake. And they make a better factory.
모든 경제 문제의 적성은 한국이다. 미국도 아니야, 영국도 아니야, 다 저기다.
Not now today, of course, Japan is better. There's no question about that. But Japanese know, since they won the championship over Germany, they know who is the next one. Then they go, none other than Korean. They know that. They say that now, even openly. Koreans one day will take over industry from Japan.
한국 사람은 5,000년 단 참 생각해.
And this is never by accident. Koreans have endured 5,000 years saying nothing. But when they've been kept thinking all the time though. So when they start acting, they are much better prepared. And it's never accidental either that father had to come out of Korea. It's just not one nation. It is the nation which has some special characteristics.
여기 이제 우리 통일 상황까지 겸해가지고 한국이 이래서는 나는 세계적인 문제가 되지 않나 하는 것을 보여줘야 합니다.
And the industry is not the major, the specialty of Korea. It will have an industry, but their specialty is thought, philosophy, spirituality, and once this is perfected and the thoughts of the world will have to use that as their own leadership. Accept that. Do you understand?
한국 사람은 공손 말이야. 후대리 스파이부터 스파이. 조상을
The Korea's the characteristics, if you call that, is a inquisitiveness. They are always inquisitive. Why? How? Always. It's just like in one sense, it is not like a naive man. It's like a spy, you might say. He doesn't have to think. He immediately goes into and try to figure out the whole situation. And that's an inevitable result product of 5,000 years of endurance of persecution. If they didn't develop that, they cannot survive. So for their own survival, they have to cultivate that.
아시아 정세, 세계 정세에 민감한 사람.
So the Koreans are higher in the standard and are much more sensitive in its capability to analyze the world situation. If something happens in the world, they immediately have some idea why it is happening and to which direction it is going. Strange thing. And since they are placed right in the middle of the conflict between communist and the free world, like North and South Korea, and the war came and many, many people killed, and the miserable war they had to go through 5 years. Since they do that, whether they like it or not, they must experience the problem of a free world and the problem of a communist world.
참는 것만 생각하는 날에는 세계 역사가.
So when they are persecuted and when they go suffering, they have nothing but endure and think about it, how to get out of it, how to surmount that, how to overcome the suffering. So they think they did for thousands of years.
그래서 무슨 말인데?
Do you understand?
희망이 있다고.
So
그 영국이 뭐라? 영국 봐 그냥 영국 가만 봐. 영국은 제3국으로 떨어졌다고 이거야. 대영자 뭐 브레이크
and the contrast is the Britain, the Great Britain. The father emphasizes Great Britain. What's so great about it now? Now it has come down to small Britain.
자, 그럼 영국 사람한테 이게 필요한 게 뭐니? 세계 순환에 참을 수 있고 영국이 극복할 수 있어 참을 수 있는 국민이 남아 있느냐 안 해보는 거죠.
The British need to follow only the one common rule. Now, are they ready to tolerate, to endure the worldly suffering, or the world suffering, the suffering in the world degree, and still think that one day we will go up to the Great Britain once more? If they have that, then Father feels okay. But if the Great Britain now will take the pattern of America, let's say, they don't think so much. They act, and there's plenty of action to do, and easy make living. So you never have to think. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to think, and just go easy, be lucky, be easy, go lucky. And the Britain will, if you follow the American pattern, they have nothing to inherit, nothing to build the country again.
영국 사람들이 이제부터 어떤 세계 어려움을 극복할 수 있는 강력의 국가, 그 극복하면 그걸 통해서 미래의 소망으로서 생각할 수 있는 이런 국민을 만들려면 영국도 이렇게 앞서는 세계를 입장할 수 있는 제1세 불합화의 기회를 가지고 나가야 된다고.
But English is determined. Just take this lesson from this scene, small scene, and say, for English we must persevere, we must endure the third-rated country treatment. Endure that, but we think deeper and deeper, and resolve we will again become the one greater nation once we used to be, without taking the example from America. That's not the easy way of life. Without doing that, the English will absolutely have no faith, no hope. But with that, English have plenty of reason to have a hope. become great nation once more.
통일교가 어디 이런 영국에다가 통일교 사장을 다 뿌려버린 거야. 그냥 받아들여가지고 일단 세계적으로 다시
Actually, Father is interested to see what kind of soil Father has seeded now. Father, in this situation, England put in Unification Church members, and they go around and they teach the heavenly way of life. The Father is waiting how the soil will grow that seed, and soon the British people will have here's our hope for England to become a great nation once more. Is this hope? We have to follow this avenue, Unification Avenue. Then we'll become one day again the greater.
미국에서 영국 와서 하는 것 같이 미국 청년들이 신학생들은 전부 다 하는 것 같이 미 영국 보고 세계 가서 이런 거 이런 시장을 그냥 살아가는 세계적인 것들이 일어날 수 있는 어떤 나라보다 더 갖춘 나라다.
If the British people will learn quickly, Unification Church members doing in London within us, there's a great lesson to be learned from there. We too, one day soon, will go out to the all Commonwealth nation to begin with, and go there and do just like the seminary students from America is doing in England. If the English people will do that to all the Commonwealth nations the same way, we will win the heart of the people. Not only that, England will once more become a great nation. If they figure that out, they can once more become a great nation. God will help that too. And isn't that right?
생각 없이 그저 뭐
But if the English people would be without contemplation, think, well, there must be better way than that to become a great nation, then they will utterly fail. Then they will be third rate. Pretty soon they will be fourth rate. It's a small island country without resources. So Father feels now is a perfect time in the history for English to take this challenge. So Father came and the Father did this activity and now trying to buy a factory. It's the time that they can manage. It's a good time that English has experienced more than 10 years being a third-rate country. There's something, their pride and something must be in challenge now. Now is the right time for them to think over whether they will be contented to be a third-rate country and try to find some wild way to become jump up to first-rate country, or they become sensible and that this is the only way for them to regain the great nation once more. Then once they do that, they will prosper for sure. What is your opinion? Do you agree to Father?
영국 사람 흔들어봐, 영국 사람 흔들어봐.
Those who are English, raise your hand.
자, 여기 흑인, 아프리카 사람들 맞다. 흑인들 만나자. 흑인들. 너희들 핍박받고 어렵다고 생각하지 마라. 참고 생각하라. 생각 없는 사람들이 많은데, 아프리카.
And African people, which is a very, very real situation now, they are being persecuted, and they are the unadvanced, and they are the handicapped, you might call it, because you have no resource to turn by. But Father says, do not be disappointed. But your work now is to endure, and that's not the end of it. You must think and think ahead. So if we have to help them to think, in schools and things, and help them think, because African people, they're good at enduring, fine. They're doing fine enduring, but if they don't think, nobody can help. That's the end of the country. God will never help them. No brotherly nation will come to help them, and they simply have to just be washed out. But as long as they think, then no problem.
세계 사람들은 다 싫다고 하지만은 참고 생각하는 사람들이기 때문에 여러분은 망하든지 다 정상의 사람.
The Reverend Moon, they persecuted so much, but Reverend Moon never gave in. Father can throw away many times. I will do without you. But Father never said that. Father just endured until the God said, that's enough. And even beyond that, Father is enduring. And as a result, more and more young people continue to get the message and get the meaning and follow. And the Unification Church expands in America. If Father gave up long ago, saying it's unjust and it's bad nation and gave up, didn't endure, then nothing would have resulted now. And you too, the English as well as American and all the European nations, in a big sense, in an individual way too, you need Father, don't you? Why? In what way?
더 참기만 할 때 참을 수 있을 수 있는 길이 있기 때문에 필요하고 생각을 못할 때 생각할 수 있는 길이 있기 때문에 필요합니다.
Father is absolutely necessary to you. You may by this time know marriage and things that are only the secondary. Maybe the first thing is you cannot tolerate anymore. You cannot endure anymore. You're about to blow up. You're about to quit. You're about to do anything drastic. But when Father talks to you, then you know you have to endure more. And then you go door to door, but you don't know what to do after next. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to think? But when Father gives you talk once in a long while even, not every week even, once in a long while, then Father does the thinking for you, and all you do is just import the thinking. And just think as if it was your thinking. Isn't that true? Yes. And why is Father necessary to you? Because Father helps you to endure.
거기에 대해서는 생각할 수 있게 할 수 있는 이런 주체적인 내용을 가졌기 때문에 필요하다.
And Father,
뭐 너나라 대통령도 있고 주시장도 있고 학교도 있고 뭐다 있는 직장에 나가서 아이 뭐 그래 빵이다 뭘 그래.
Every other way, maybe you're the better because you went to Oxford College and you went to Cambridge College, and you can in 10 years you can be a minister even. You can be a parliament member. There's nothing you're lacking, but even though you have everything, unless you have this one, endurance and thinking, then nothing. Father, it has a contents of all this thinking, all these the subject, the contents of all these subjects. Therefore, you're necessary. And you are doing fine now. You're on the right track. But what if Father wasn't here? Then nobody would stay in the path guaranteed way, would they? You have long ago got astray, got lost away here, lost away there, and never where you are now. Is that right?
Yes.
Because the Father here tells you. You need Father because you can, with Father's presence, you can endure better. In fact, you can endure if Father gives you the reason why you must endure and give you inspiration, aspiration. Then you can endure. At the same time, you wouldn't know what to do. As a nation, as an individual, even as the nation, you wouldn't know what the British people are supposed to do. The Congress, the Parliament don't know. Nobody knows. The minister don't know. The Archbishop don't know. But Father can tell you in simple language what to do, and now and what to do next. So that's why Father is necessary to us. Also, another element is Father can make you suffer and willingly suffer. This is another thing. That's where the greatness in Reverend Moon lies. And just as much as you need, we all need Father, so does Christian Church. They can do without popes. 100 times they can do without church, the popes, but we don't see how they can do without Reverend Moon. We must know that, and we must know you, we must know Father. Now you know about the endurance and the contemplation. Indeed. Then, as a result of you doing it, we doing it, what would that mean to the world? How much effect will it have towards the world?
아담 에어가 참았으면 타락했겠어? 해가 조금 참았으면 타락했겠어?
Let's get the very concrete example. What's good about enduring? Adam and Eve, if Adam and Eve endured, they want to love each other, but if they've endured, will they have fallen?
또, 그 조금만 생각 조금만 해도 타락했겠어?
Well, if they thought one step, two steps ahead of their course of action, would they have gone right into the falling, act of fall? If they thought...
타락하신 남자, 조금 생각을 조금만 더 달리 조금만 더 했으면 아담을 타락할 수 있어요. 아담을 타락하면 그냥 복되는 거야. 얼마나 쉬웠다는 생각. 더 했으면 아담을 타락할 수 있어요. 아담을 타락하면 그냥 복되는 거야. 얼마나 쉬웠다는 생각.
Even let's say that Eve fell, but if Eve had only one more thought, second thought, then she would not let Adam into the fall again. She terminated. She contained the fall in herself and never passed that along to Adam. If she had a second thought, which she didn't. Isn't that right?
절대 조금만 참고 조금만 생각해도 타락하다.
If she endured a little more, and if they contemplated a little more, Adam and Eve would never have fallen in the begin with. Accepted in the Unification Church.
그러니까 사람이라서
Well, don't you feel?
그 기반에 이거는 저도 안 해도 안 쓴다.
When that foundation is achieved, then Father won't probably have to even ask you to go ahead and witness for heaven.